Boy, am I having a screwed up day. All right. I wanted to read a comment that I received. I've received more than one good comment, but this is one that I wanted to share with everyone. They've changed YouTube Studio again, which is wonderful. I'm facetious. Okay, so in my thumbnail, that is Trump and Howard Lutnick, who's in his administration somewhere, who was Jeffrey Epstein's next door neighbor. And I'm reading comments from my MAGA is over video that I put up a couple days ago. I had another one that I had on pause, but my internet has been in and out all day again. Not on the computer. I mean, I've had to physically reboot it in my apartment because it's hot out today, and therefore, since it's hot out, Spectrum can fuck around with shit and play around with the lines and shit. Um, and then you call, and they're like, "Yeah, it's out." Oh, okay. So I lost that one. But anyway, let's go. Kelly Hughes says, "Thanks for sharing your perspective. I always respect what you have to say." Well, that's really nice. All right. So this is a sacred blue, the deadly poke of Zio. Okay. I'm just when I said how I just am done with Trump, right? So this is what this individual has to say. Okay. And it's so right on. I'm disappointed too. For the first Trump presidency, the general impression I got was the reason got was that the reason everything was so messy but still had many successes was because Trump was doing his best with what he had as a Washington outsider who was to fight an uphill battle with his own government and never really knew who he could trust. Hence, the constant leaks and betrayals. When it was over, I figured he'd had enough experience to hit the ground running if he ever got back into the White House again. Well, he did, but then uh, it was taken from him, my opinion. The growing pains were over. In 4 years, he'd know exactly what needed to be done and who to hire based entirely on merit, of course, and who to help him do it. He'd be wiser about his words, actions, and more importantly, who he placed around himself as to avoid another Pence situation. And I mean, the Pence thing right away, I was just like, so many red flags were going, I mean, he had supported Ted Cruz. And plus, he is apparently part of a sex trafficking ring, too, along with Mike Lee. And I do have videos. I don't know if they're still around or not. I guess I'm afraid to check because I might get so pissed off. But I did them back in 2017. And they were interviews with people all related to the Biss law firm. And Bongino is related to the Biss law firm, too. Bongino is covering shit up for Obama right now. And Hillary and whoever they are asking him to cover up. I mean, if you put someone like that in the FBI, yuck. He's horrible. He just happened to roll into millions of dollars and really amass a fortune by having a couple of failed campaign runs for congressmen in two different states. He's had to move up and down, the East Coast. A cop back in the 90s and a Secret Service agent back in 2009 would have made anywhere between 40 to 60,000 a year. And if that's going to be your house, your car, your wife, your kids. It's not cheap living out there. Okay, let me continue. Boy, I was wrong. Was I wrong? When I heard he was filling every administration position with TV talking heads and sleazy conservative media celebrities, I couldn't believe it. Where were the no nonsense merit hires? It seemed that if you were photogenic, had a recognizable name in conservative media, and sucked up to Trump on a Fox News show at some point, you're an automatic hire, no matter how shifty you were. Pam Bondi was the biggest red flag of that. And even his press secretary was hired by virtue of being a stereotypical airheaded bottle blonde, and she's not even good at her job. No, she is the worst. Have you noticed how they've really cut that press room down too? I mean, they smash everyone into a little room as if to make it look bigger and more inclusive, yet it's only inclusive of podcasters that suck up to him too. And now, if you notice his pressers in his White House, they aren't showing his legs anymore because his legs are filled with fluid. And the guy is, I believe he's on medication for his heart. I believe he's on medication for fluid retention, i.e., a diuretic. I mean, that those legs like that and his lifestyle, that screams CHF, congestive heart failure. Not acute where he's going to die. Well, more or less just a sort of a chronic ongoing condition that needs to be managed by keeping the fluid out of your body, making sure that your fluid doesn't accumulate, and making sure that your heart is pumping the right way. Therefore, and the medications can change your mood and make you feel different. Over the last few weeks, the complete and utter unprofessionalism is honestly too much for me. I'm not even going to go into all the terrible policy decisions and broken campaign promises. That would take too long. But holy crap, man, Trump and his admin treat every serious issue as a joke, and I can't stand it. I wanted these people to roll up their sleeves and work. Instead, they're making goofy memes and mocking people like me who wanted them to keep their promises with silly name calling. If I had known that casting a vote in November would amount to the same thing as buying a ticket to the circus, I would have just bought a ticket to the circus instead. Thomas 23 adds, I agree with you. I had high expectations. The country is in bad shape, and we really need all hands on deck to fix it. The last 4 years were the absolute worst. Only a miracle will get us out of this mess, God willing. Now, this I've read already. I did see this one. Uh, she's talking about the husk of waiting, like you're waiting for the next. You're waiting for the files on Pam Bondi's desk, but you're waiting until like you just expire, and you're just a corpse, right? All right. Thank you.